This house doesn't announce itself. It doesn't sit on the bay. It doesn't tower over downtown. It doesn't rely on spectacle. And yet, without this house, Traverse City would not be the city that we know today. Because this wasn't the home of a visitor. It wasn't built for leisure. And it wasn't designed to be temporary. This was the home of a man who committed to a place before it proved it was worth committing to. This is the Perry Hanna House. And this is the story of how a single home anchored an entire city. Welcome back to Homes of Michigan. I'm Chris Hubble with History Loves Company. In this series, we don't just tour historic houses. We ask why they exist, who built them, what they represented, and how private homes quietly shaped public history. Because every historic house is a permanent decision. And to understand the Perry Hanna House, you first need to understand Traverse City before permanence. In the 1840s, this region was remote, even by Michigan standards. Dense forest, limited roads, seasonal access. What made settlement possible here was water. Grand Traverse Bay offered a deep protected harbor, and the river at its southern end, known early on as the Ottawa or Ottaway River, the river of trade, provided access inland. In 1847, Horace Boardman and Associates established the first sawmill near the river's mouth. This wasn't a town yet. It was an extraction site. Lumber camps come and go. They strip resources and move on. Most never become cities. Perry Hanna arrived in Traverse City in the early 1850s. By 1851, he and his partners, James Morgan and James Lay, purchased the sawmill operation, forming Hanna, Lay & Company. This moment is critical. Hanna didn't just run a mill. He expanded it, stabilized it, and integrated it into regional trade. Under his leadership, steam-powered milling replaced earlier methods. Shipping connections across Lake Michigan increased. Regular Great Lakes steamers began calling at the harbor. Traverse City transitioned from camp to company town. This is why Perry Hanna is often called the founding father of Traverse City. Not because he was first, but because he stayed. And when a man like that builds a home, it's never accidental. One of the most revealing facts about Perry Hanna is where he lived first. Historical accounts place his early residence near today's Warehouse District, close to present-day Hall Street. That location matters. Early industrial towns did not separate work from life, management from labor, or industry from domestic space. Hanna lived near the mills, the docks, the river corridor, transportation routes, workers and materials. This was not retreat architecture. It was embedded leadership. He built where access mattered, not where views impressed. As Traverse City stabilized, as population increased, and the economy matured, the idea of permanent domestic space evolved. That evolution is embodied in the Perry Hanna House. This house represents a transition from frontier practicality to established civic confidence. This is not a log structure. This is not temporary housing. This is a house designed to last. Architecturally, It reflects mid to late 19th century Midwestern sensibilities. Symmetry and order, durable construction materials, clearly defined public and private spaces, proportions meant for long-term family life. This was not speculative. It was a declaration. This place is worth staying in. It's important to understand what life inside this house likely looked like. This was not leisure wealth. This was working capital. Rooms were designed for hosting business associates, conducting discussions, managing household and civic responsibilities. The home functioned as a family residence, as well as a social anchor and an informal extension of the business world. In the 19th century, many deals weren't signed in offices. They were discussed over meals, in parlors, in spaces exactly like these. This house wasn't separate from the city's growth. It was part of its operating system. Traverse City experienced devastating fires, most notably the Great Fire of 1896, which destroyed large portions of downtown. Many early homes and businesses vanished. The survival of the Perry Hanna House matters. It survived because it was well built. It occupied a stable residential context. It was recognized as important early on. Survival is not just luck. It's value recognized over time. As Traverse City rebuilt in brick and masonry, this house became a physical link to the city's earliest permanent era. Preserving a house like this isn't about freezing time. It's about keeping context. Without early homes, cities lose narrative continuity. Growth becomes disconnected from origin. History collapses into aesthetics. The Perry Hanna House reminds us that Traverse City was built before it was enjoyed. Industry preceded identity, and commitment created culture. This house doesn't represent excess. It represents belief that this remote harbor town was worth building into something lasting. Belief that infrastructure, homes, and institutions could turn extraction into community. Belief that Traverse City wasn't temporary. When you stand in front of this house, you're not just looking at architecture. You're looking at a decision that shaped Michigan history. Before the wineries, before the resorts, before the postcards, there was work, there was risk, and there were people like Perry Hanna who built homes not to escape, but to stay. If you want more stories like this, homes that didn't just shelter people, but helped build cities, subscribe to History Loves Company. And let me ask you this. What do you think makes a house historic? Its age, its architecture, or the choices made inside its walls? I'm Chris Hubble. This is Homes of Michigan. And this is a home that helped build a city.